Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the North Kesteven series. This is a large Lincolnshire district centred around the town of Sleaford. There's 75 parishes here, so let's take a look at one of them. Hello folks, welcome back to North Kesteven once again. Now, a while ago, you saw me cover a place called South Scarle. That was in the Newark and Sherwood series. Well, to check out its northern counterpart, you actually have to come over the county border and into Lincolnshire because it sits on the other side. It's a bit of a weird situation. Welcome, therefore, to North Scarle. The North Kesteven series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop located at 20 Ropery Road, Gainsborough, or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like, and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. North Scarle, Dung, North. Alright, let's get back to the northern reaches of North Kesteven this week, where we begin a run that will complete the northwestern corner. At the risk of using the word north too much in the opening two lines, welcome to North Scarle. You might remember the South Scarle episode from Newark and Sherwood. If not, that's going to be available via this week's end screen. It's a strange situation because the two Scarles aren't even in the same county, let alone the same district. North Scarle does have more than just a hint of Nottinghamshire about it though, from the red brick buildings which characterise that county throughout, to the general layout and feel of it all. It is in essence a Nottinghamshire village, but it's proud to be Lincolnshire instead. The Scarle villages have the same etymology, seeing as their names both mean dung or dirty wood. The northern version is a lot larger and can boast quite a bit more in the way of landmarks. Here there's a church, two chapels, a school, a village hall and a pub, but all those pale in comparison to the best of the lot. For me, the standout feature of North Scarle is the thing that runs all the way around its playing field, and trust me, it's quite amazing. If you're intrigued, keep watching as we take on another lovely village on the very edge of Lincolnshire. It's North Scarle, let's go. We begin our trip around North Scarle on Eagle Road in the eastern portion of the village. Geographically, North Scarle Parish is more part of Nottinghamshire than it is Lincolnshire. It's actually bounded on three sides by Nottinghamshire, with Eagle the only Lincolnshire parish which borders it. South Scarle, the village's southern counterpart, is in Nottinghamshire, as are Wigsley and Spalford to the north. Our first act is to discuss public transport, and on Eagle Road is a bus stop. North Scarle is served by three buses, the numbers 1, 48 and 49, which all go to Lincoln. The village is small and relatively unspoilt, comprising mostly residential housing and a small number of business premises. Equestrian sports are popular in this area, and so too is fishing. I'll show you where that takes place at the end of this video. Now, speaking of water, next we turn left to follow Swinderby Road. That means we'll also be following Mill Dam Dyke upstream. This pretty little beck flows through North Scarle before discharging into the River Fleet at Girton, meaning eventually all its waters reach the sea via the Trent and the Humber. Swinderby Road doesn't have a lot to shout about. In fact, for a short time you think you're heading into the middle of nowhere until you pass Valley View on the left. North Scarle has at least 2 campsites, and this is one of them. Valley View also offers glamping pods too. Camping is a popular thing in these parts. Then we come to a bridge over Mill Dam Dyke, and this gives us access to the playing field. Note the gate, that'll become important shortly. A decent size, the playing field is the home ground of North Scarle Cricket Club, members of the Lincoln and District League. Now you might be asking yourself, why at the entrance to a playing field is there a level crossing gate? We're nowhere near a railway line. Well, we actually are near a railway line. I'm actually standing on a railway line. It's nothing like a normal railway line though, it's a miniature railway. Here we go. There's the railway line in question. You can see the station up there. Let's follow the track and talk a bit about this. This railway track belongs to the Lincoln and District Model Engineering Society. This is the North Scarle Miniature Railway, and it's quite simply incredible. Wholly ground level, comprising of both a 5 and a 7¼ inch gauge track, this has over time been extended to a current length of 2,000 feet. Should you wish to travel upon it, the journey takes you around the entire field, over a crossing, and even through a couple of tunnels. If you're a railway enthusiast, this place is definitely for you. Here's the yard where the trains are kept. Check out that awesome turntable. The railway doesn't run every day. It operates once a fortnight throughout the summer in conjunction with North Scarle's Sunday car boot sale. The playing field can offer other things for you, however. Here's the tennis club, which is of course open much more frequently. It boasts around 40 members and is a member of a local competitive league. Social tennis is also a feature of a Tuesday night here. Following the track alongside the club, we're heading for the village hall now. On the way, there's more caravans. I told you, North Scarle is a campus paradise. They are everywhere. North Scarle Village Hall is a registered charity and has been since 1963. It's managed by the North Scarle Village Hall and Playing Fields Committee, who are the administering trustees. The hall is the main communal facility here and often has live music by way of a band night. That's well worth coming to. Out of the drive that leads to it, and we find ourselves on South Scarle Lane, deep in the heart of the western half of the village. This part of North Scarle is defined by 2 almost parallel roads, South Scarle Lane and the High Street, linked together by the narrow Blacksmith's Lane. South Scarle Lane isn't all that exciting in the grand scheme of things. Wholly residential, it leads to North Scarle's southern counterpart and across the county boundary into Nottinghamshire. Although in different counties, both Scarles are intrinsically linked by way of their name. Scarle literally means dung wood or dirty wood. This makes sense because this area would have once been heavily forested. There are still some ancient woodlands around here today. Now we've reached the end of South Scarle Lane and Blacksmith's Cottage, where we will turn right. Okay, next it's a right turn beyond Blacksmith's Cottage down the very narrow Blacksmith's Lane, which, as you can see from that sign over there, is unsuitable for heavy goods vehicles. This will bring us out on the High Street. So here we have the High Street. It was this street that, beyond all others, proved to me North Scarle's likeness to a Nottinghamshire village. Heading northeast to begin with, the phone box kicks us off here. This one's been turned into a well-stocked book exchange. An about turn then brings us to the former Wesleyan Chapel. Methodism has had a presence in North Scarle since the first society was formed sometime before 1759. This chapel dates from the year 1900, and it replaced a former building that's around 100 yards away further down the High Street. We'll catch that shortly. Between the two, I was to encounter a piece of decorative artwork on the side of a building. Dotted around the village are a series of markers that were made to celebrate the Queen's Golden Jubilee in 2002. Note the B on this one. North Scarle is well known for producing Lincolnshire honey. That brings us to the old chapel. Built in 1799, this closed with the opening of the new building and for a time was used as a grocer's store and then a barn before finally being converted into a dwelling. And speaking of dwellings, that's all the high street is now until it reaches its very end. At the end of the road is this property which looks very, very old. I thought it was maybe a manor house. Instead, it's simply known as the White House, and it's early 18th century. It's made of a mixture of coursed rubble and red brick, and it's Grade 2 listed, one of 6 such buildings at this end of the high street. Now we come to the War Memorial, an 11-foot high cross on 4 steps. This was unveiled in 1920, and it's made of blue-grey stone. Only the fallen from World War I are commemorated. It can be found in the northeastern corner of All Saints' churchyard, and here is the church itself. All Saints is a Grade 1 listed building dating originally from the 12th century, although it was destroyed by fire in 1342 and rebuilt directly after. In 1898 it was extensively restored and a north aisle was added by Sir Ninian Comper. Henry Inman was rector of All Saints for 36 years. He was not only a 19th century clergyman, but also the founder and first commander of the South Australia Police. His grave is in the churchyard. Although born in what is now Portsmouth, it's perhaps somewhat correct that he now lies here. Next, we head off down Church Lane towards our next area. Okay, just beyond the church you can see there's a field here which has been left to be fairly wild actually. It's more like a marsh than a field. It's kind of like a little nature reserve, not quite totally sure what it is, but it's definitely very watery. Certainly wouldn't like to be squelching my way across that right now. So, using Church Lane, we're heading towards the primary school next before we turn back towards the village centre where the pub will be our last landmark. So, best foot forward, let's carry on around North Scarle and finish it off. Here's the primary school now. Education in North Scarle began in 1818 when a national school was erected. It was enlarged in 1854 and then in 1876 a brand new school was built to replace it. That new building still stands today and you're looking at it. The rest of School Lane is quite a modest affair. Housing is confined to one side of the road because Mill Dam Dyke runs along the other before turning at the end and following the course of Chapel Lane and Swinderby Road. The final leg of the walk sees us past the small shop and post office located on Chapel Lane itself. It's great to see one of these in a rural location, by the way. It's so rare these days. Not so rare though is a pub, and North Scarle definitely has one of those. This is the White Hart. Fun fact, in 1393 King Richard II passed an act making it compulsory for pubs and inns to have a sign in order to identify them to the official ale tester. The White Hart was the King's emblem, and that's why many pubs throughout the land have that name. Our last job is perhaps the most important. As we reach South Scarle Lane again, we find a parish notice board. Mark off North Scarle, folks. We've officially been. And what a beautiful place North Scarle is, isn't it? That's a fantastic little walk. It's taken me less than an hour and I've enjoyed every single step. Now, if you were to ask me which one I prefer, North Scarle or South Scarle, I'd say it's a tie. Diplomatic answer. Let's head back up Eagle Road and make for the next one. Now, I couldn't let this episode go without a quick look at Lowfield's country retreat. My brother would murder me. As a keen angler, he was a regular at this place. It's a holiday park, but it's well known for its fishing lakes. Angling here is second to none and has been for over 25 years. It has a range of beautifully conditioned fish across 8 mature lakes, the largest of which are over 300 years old. And that's it for North Scarle. From fish, we're now going to a place that shares its name with a big bird, although as we'll see next week, not everything is as it seems, at least not in naming terms. See you down the road for more soon? Of course. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.